Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Friday, January 31st. Yes, the month of January, pretty much in the books. Unbelievable stuff. But also in the books, Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator search. They had a pretty exhaustive search. Patrick Graham ended up going back to the Raiders. You had Durante Jones. You had Aubrey Pleasant. You also had Anthony Campanelli. That is how you pronounce it according to Mia O'Brien of 1010XL. Anthony Campanelli, the Green Bay Packers linebackers coach and run game coordinator, is now the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator. This is a guy who very excitable, very fun. If you've ever watched Miami Dolphins Hard Knocks, and we talked about that earlier in the week, watching this guy in a meeting room, watching him get after it's something to behold. But then you've also got you see that side of him in the meeting room on the practice field. You also see the side where he can meet with the media, and speak with, grace and feels like he has media training. And it feels like from a media perspective and from a coaching perspective, he'll be ready for this, ready to communicate with the media, ready to lead in the classroom and on the practice field. He is 42 years old, born in 1982, a guy from New Jersey, not surprising with that name. The way he talks, the way he has his mindset, it is, he's talked about it, and he talked about it on Hard Knocks. Kicking ass is a universal language. They speak that in every country in the world, ass kicking, and he talks about that quite a bit. He talks about, envisioning the guy you're trying to tackle, the guy trying to block you. They're trying to take away your livelihood. So, he's got the motivational tactics down. He'll quote Vince Lombardi. He'll get after it. Very exciting, and, does not mind dropping an F-bomb or two here or there. And I think that's all great. Toughness, physicality. The Jaguars, in my mind, have been not soft, but I don't think they've been the most angry, mad, violent defense that you can be. And I think Anthony Campanelli can help them get there in that regard. So that's exciting, certainly. But then you've also got a vast experience of coaches that he has worked under, of programs that he's been at. So I think that, his mindset, which is going to be exciting for fans, it's going to be exciting for players, combined with his institutional knowledge and probably, based on the way Liam Cohen operates, his ability to game plan defense. I do not believe that Liam Cohen was going to hire somebody for defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator that would not have a game plan specific approach. And if you haven't been paying attention to this, we've been talking about it. There's a lot of different types of defensive coordinators, a lot of different styles of coaching, right? But there's defensive coordinators who are going to say, for the most part, this is what we run. We're going to run it at the highest level because our guys know exactly what we're doing. We're going to do it almost every single week. We're not going to change a whole lot based on our opponent. And that kind of defensive coordinator, I don't want to say it's a dying breed, but it's certainly not as common now as coaches who will try to game plan specifically for the offense that they are going up against, because offenses are so versatile these days, and they will try to attack you and expose your weak points. You've got to be prepared. So it's like this chess match going back and forth from a preparation standpoint, and then also in game as well. And the one thing you can certainly say about Anthony Campanelli is that he does not have NFL defensive coordinator experience, right? He doesn't. And Liam Cohen doesn't have head coaching experience. So you're going in with some young guys who this organization is putting their belief in. And Liam Cohen is putting his belief in Anthony Campanelli. And so we're going to go through his coaching history, the connection, the big connection here that there is between Liam Cohen and Anthony Campanelli. And I'm excited about it simply because there's new blood. Again, I think this will be a game plan defensive coordinator. I believe that he's got a lot of really high quality influences, and the way he comes off, the ability to again, communicate effectively with his team and then also communicate effectively from a PR perspective with the media, all that stuff. I think that this guy's a rising star in the league. And let's hope, this time last year, everyone was fired up about Ryan Nielsen. And I'm not comparing that situation, right? I'm not saying that, this is going to play out similarly at all. I would honestly say if you had to poll fans, they were more excited about Ryan Nielsen than they will be about Anthony Campanelli. Now, I think there is just more juice right now because you have an entire new direction for this football team. But folks were fired up around the league and in Jacksonville about Ryan Nielsen last year, and it didn't work out. Then you have a lot of folks, including myself, who wanted the Jaguars to hire an experienced defensive coordinator when this thing started. That didn't work out with Patrick Graham. It was pretty clear based on their list of interviews that they were going to go with an up-and-coming coordinator, and I think they're going to do that on both sides of the ball. I think that that's the way Liam Cohen kind of views views how he wants to build this program out with guys who are on the rise. And, that's a bold way to do it. I'm all about being bold here in the Bold City, right? So, Anthony Campanelli started out at high school, linebackers coach, defensive coordinator in New Jersey, was also an offensive coordinator at the same school, Don Bosco. So he got a lot of experience there as a coach doing some different things. At Rutgers, he went there in 2012. He was a defensive assistant for 2 years. He was then a tight ends coach for 2 years. He was then switched over to Boston College, where he learned under Jeff Hafley for a while. And he was their defensive backs coach from 2016 to 2017. Boston College, 2018, co-defensive coordinator. I think that's critical to see how that played out. And defensive backs coach. He then went to Michigan in 2019 as their linebackers coach, right? And that's where he worked under Don Brown, who was Liam Cohen's college coach at UMass. So there's a connection right there. Miami Dolphins, 2020 to 2023 linebackers coach. What's crazy about that is you had 3 different coaches during that time period in Miami. He learned under Brian Flores. They also had the same defensive coordinator after Brian Flores left for a year or two, Boyer, and then Vic Fangio, right? So that you're talking about working under Don Brown, Jeff Hafley, Vic Fangio, and Brian Flores there. And then Jeff Hafley goes over to Green Bay this year from Boston College, and and Anthony Campanelli reunites with Jeff Hafley and becomes their linebackers coach and run game coordinator, right? And now he's the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator. So vast experience as a coach in the college level. He's got some good experience now in the NFL as well. He's been in the NFL since 2020, so that's 5 seasons of learning this thing, and went from linebackers coach to linebackers coach and run game coordinator. So he's rising up the ranks, right? It's going to be fascinating to see how the staff fills out. I would imagine you'll see guys from Jeff Hafley's tree, maybe Ryan Flores' tree, maybe Vic Fangio, right? There's a lot of different names to draw from, a lot of different coaching trees that Anthony Campanelli and Liam Cohen can build this defensive staff out from. And the Jaguars, they still got to hire their offensive coordinator. Obviously, special teams coordinator Heath Farwell's sticking around. So you now got 2 of your 3 coordinators in terms of like the big coordinator jobs. You might have a run game coordinator, pass game coordinator on both sides of the ball. We'll see how the staff fills out. But I'm pretty excited about Campanelli. I'm excited to get to learn more about him. Meet with him whenever he has his opening press conference and get to know more about what they've got going on here. From a philosophical standpoint, he's been with guys that have different philosophies, guys that do it differently. Most recently in Green Bay, they had a very diverse set of coverages. Like, they were running a lot of different things. They're a game plan team. They're not overly blitz heavy, but they had tons of sim pressures. They use sim pressures a lot. And I think it's going to be game plan dependent on how they're kind of attacking things, which will be huge. But that also means defensively on the back end, especially, you've got to have guys that are smart, assignment sound football players that can understand a game plan, contextualize it, and execute it at a high level, which you haven't always seen that here in Jacksonville. So I think they've got to some work to do from a personnel standpoint in the secondary. You've also seen him work under coaches that have 3-4 fronts, under coaches that have 4-3 fronts. So I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I think that you're going to have a multi-front defense that runs a lot of different coverages, brings pressure at times, brings a lot of sim pressures, a defense that likes to confuse you. I think that that's what Liam Cohen's probably looking for, because that's what he doesn't want to play against. So again, Anthony Campanelli is the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.